Supporters of suspended eThekwini Mayor Zandile Gumede are now taking the legal route in order to force ANC in KwaZulu-Natal to allow her to resume her duties. Speaking at a press conference in Durban earlier today, they said there is no ANC conference resolution that says members facing charges should step aside. The leader of the backers and confidants, Mzomuhle Dube, says they've grown tired of talking to the party to lift the suspension and in return being snubbed. Mzomuhle Dube is a spokesperson for disgruntled ANC KwaZulu-Natal branches. He joins us now from our studios there in Durban. A very good evening to you and thank you so much for speaking to us. So you say you're tired.
Very good evening.
You say you're tired of trying to get the provincial leadership to reach common ground for you. Does common ground suggest a compromise of sorts?
Well, thank you for allowing me to come through. There is no element that suggests that there should be an element of compromise. What we are about to say is that the provincial leadership should have made it clear from the beginning in relation to the leave of absence that was requested to be taken by Comrade Mzomuhle and Comrade Zandile Gumede. We seem to have a very serious problem when the 30-day period lapses and the provincial leadership is found wanting in relation to the future of the two comrades who were now supposed to go back to work. And there is no predetermined process in terms of explaining what is it that the provincial structure was busy with whilst these two comrades were actually on the leave of absence.
So you've also accused the party of a flouting process, of ignoring due process. What process do you believe that they flouted?
Well, we have a couple of issues. One of the issues that we are actually contesting is the dissolution of the Regional Executive Committee structure of the ANC, where we actually noted that during the time of the elections, there was a directive from the National Executive Committee asking all pending regional conferences to be paused for the purpose of allowing the national electioneering program to continue. That was adhered to, and we believe that immediately after the election, then the pause button should be released so that the regional structure should begin to prepare for the upcoming regional conference. What is now happening? You find the provincial executive structure taking a decision that dissolves the very same structure that was instructed not to go to the conference in December when their term of office expired. Now we are confused because they did not just dissolve the structure, they even created a new task team which has got no specific terms of reference, by the way. And that task team is only created not only by people who are from different structures, I would say maybe other upper structures of the ANC.
Okay.
But it is a comprised of people who have been, I would say, have been collected everywhere, because most of them are not even leaders in their branches.
So, Mr. Dube,
some of them are not even members of the ANC.
Help me understand this. Why should we not think that there's a conflation of issues here? One, there's a criminal process underway of which a charge sheet exists, and the other is what you say is party business, which you have suggested, and I'll point to those statements in just a moment, that there's been a manipulation thereof for a particular outcome. Why does the one result in the other from your point of view?
I beg your pardon, why does?
Why is there a conflation of the two issues? There's a criminal process and there's party business. Why are you equating one to the other? There's a charge sheet. Have you seen that charge sheet?
I still, in fact, nobody has spoken about the charge sheet until today. People are actually referring to the charges as very serious. But as far as the knowledge, in terms of the information that I have, is that the process that was taken, people were charged with before the investigations were completed. So until now, I haven't really heard that the charges have been formulated to its finality And I can bet you that come the 8th of August, the Hawks won't have enough to present to the court for processing this matter. And I would actually bet on this one again to say the matter will be further postponed, which will cause undue hardships anyway.
So are you suggesting that these are trumped-up charges?
Well, I would like to believe so, because in terms of the structure of eThekwini Metro, it is different. We do not have an executive mayor who has an executive, or actually who's got executive powers to overlap to the administration. What we have here, we have an EXCO which is comprised of various political parties that participate in any decision making. And the mayor becomes a person who simply provides an oversight role. So it becomes bizarre for anyone to suggest that she actually intercepted the process of adjudication and the issuing of tenders.
So
it's
are you
when
suggesting
you have
that
your own mayoral committee
the
whereby
criminal
it's only your political party that presides over these processes?
Are you suggesting that the criminal investigation against her is as a result of that process in order for it to be aborted? And even this affidavit that would have been submitted by the lead investigator in the case would have been part of that plot?
I beg your pardon?
Are you suggesting that the criminal charges are as a result of an attempt to abort the process which you speak of, and that the affidavit submitted by the lead investigator in the case would be part of that plot?
Once again, we don't even know where the affidavit comes from, but what we have had lately, because there has been a statement by the city manager on one of our newspapers where he was declared as a Section 204 witness. So that's why we started saying, if then the city manager is a witness to this serious crime, it means it's a crime that happened within the municipality. Therefore, if the municipality is a crime scene, it means he must step aside, because he can't preside and become an accounting officer in an institution where he actually has been confirming to have been an accomplice to a specific crime.
Okay, I need to ask you this question so that I can get hopefully a clearer answer from you. You have accused the Police Minister Begicele and ANC KwaZulu-Natal Provincial Secretary Mzomuhle Dube by saying they have a political vendetta against the former mayor, or the suspended mayor. What did you mean by that?
I have a couple of incidents that I can actually quote. When you remember that Comrade Begicele at some point came all the way from the national executive structure where he was elected as a leader, he came back to contest the regional chairmanship of eThekwini. We know that he was once a chairperson of this region, but for him to stoop that low and come all the way back to try and contest the position of eThekwini, for us it left a bitter taste in a political understanding. Because, you know, when you are up there, you can't be nostalgic about leading eThekwini. And in a recent attack by the police in our last gathering that we had, we were actually taken to a CR Swart police station where we overheard a particular colonel who was instructed to come and instruct the police to arrest that quickly and don't actually grant us bail because the general needed the case number. And in this case, there's only one general. Secondly, she actually emphasized that we were supposed to be charged for causing violence in the community.
Have you investigated these claims? What makes you believe that they are true, and why do you think the provincial secretary of the province is involved? How do you sew in this narrative to the charges against Zandile Gumede?
Without a fear of being contradicted, I would suggest that there are a couple of moments where I would say the provincial secretary has actually been directly instructing the officials of the municipality to behave in a certain way. I will quote one example where some councillors who wanted to move a motion to actually ask the city manager to recuse himself. Those councillors were actually planning to take leave of absence. And he reined in to say those councillors can't take a leave of absence. Any leave of absence that is applied for in the municipality, he is the one who must approve it. So in my own understanding, We have people who are actually capable and deployed in that municipality where those people would have been better placed to deal with leave that is actually applied for by the council.
Mr. Dube, I'll ask this in one final question, and if you could please be clear about it. Is there evidence suggesting that the police minister Begicele and the provincial secretary in the province of the party are involved in a plot to unseat or ensure that the suspended mayor does not return to work?
Once again, I wouldn't want to continuously preempt things that I know that they will be revealed in court. But in any eventuality, these things are coming up every day. You can hear that when he actually, the provincial secretary now, when he talks about the committee that is dealing with the matter of Comrade Zandile, he is dilly-dallying in a sense that initially he said the work that was done was at 95%. And eventually there was a new statement that suggested that the report that they received, he felt that it had gaps. Therefore, he had to take it back, which means when the 30-day period lapsed, the report was ready. But he felt that certain things were not covered according to his standards. So I'm saying, again, these are tactics that one cannot even explain. But you can remember again that he said, when the police actually came to the gathering that we had last week, he emphasized that even if you find ANC members, you must arrest them. So for us, that is reason enough to suggest that everything that is happening is actually good as chaos to him.
All right, Mzomuhle Dube, thank you very much for speaking to us. He's speaking on behalf of disgruntled ANC KwaZulu-Natal branches. We'll take a quick break. We'll return. Don't go away.